Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aquarius energy. And we're going to start out with the Kipper deck, and then we're going to get tarot to expand on the story. And then we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people are at different emotional maturity levels in their Aquarius energy. And, you know, high vibe Aquarius would be looking at life from a higher perspective versus maybe getting all caught up in your head. Having more hope and faith and belief in themselves and in others and in love. And believing in a higher truth and justice than making their life more about themselves or just these things of the world. We all can have our shadow nature where we're more stubborn, prideful, immature, lazy, self-centered. The list goes on. Bossy, controlling, manipulative. And so people will harness this energy differently, kind of depending on the lessons that they've learned in life. And you could know some people that, you know, moved on ahead of you. They're more stable and grounded and hopeful and believing and loving than you are. You could also know some people that you think haven't learned some of the lessons you've learned in life. And those people in turn could have people in their life. You know, it's kind of all comparable, but we've all learned different lessons in life. We're motivated and inspired by different things. Aquarius is represented by the Star card, which can kind of be what is our idea of the dream life. And sometimes our idea of the dream life and the components of what would make that up is different than other people's idea of the dream life. And sometimes we just have to accept that we can love people, other people can love us, but the different things that, you know, if it's romantic, the different components that would make us feel happy could be different than the components that would make someone else happy. And again, we could just have different perspectives on life and how we view life. So, what is going on in Aquarius energy? We start out with the Death card, and the reason that came out is because of the Thief. High vibe energy is like seeing the truth of things that manipulate you. And we've all freed ourselves from probably some more immature, shadowy ways of being in the world. And again, some people have freed themselves from less things manipulate them or not to the degree that it could manipulate other people. And we'll probably get out of relationships with people that we kind of feel like kind of what drives and motivates us is too different in a way. I kind of view the Thief card as like the Devil and the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy, and the Devil is Capricorn energy. So Capricorn can talk about what we view as victorious and successful, and again, Aquarius can be how we view life. Are we more about, in Capricorn energy, more about the world, or things we like to indulge in, like to live more from our mind than our heart, don't want to do love, we get hurt doing love. And the Death card is Scorpio energy, which is emotional water sign energy. And the truth is, some people don't want to do love. They get hurt doing love. And so some people could have decided, I don't think that's that important. You know, I am more about me or more about these things of the world. Or I want to be in a relationship. I enjoy being in relationships. That could be good for my ego and my image and makes me look victorious and successful in some ways. But they could just be more people who don't want to do deep, meaningful relationship and could be a little more emotionally shallow, live more from their mind than their heart, and, you know, probably don't tell people that, that, oh, by the way, I'm kind of more about being in it and enjoying it and kind of indulging in it, but I don't really want to, I lack hope and faith and belief and love, might not be very emotionally connected in within myself. So in shadow, they're kind of tipped in favor of being more self-protective or living from their ego or their defensive nature, or getting in relationships more for these reasons other than love. And some high vibe people did, and some high vibe people right now could kind of be seeing the truth of it. And the Devil and the Seven of Swords can be that people had a hard time wanting to see the truth or accepting the truth, because if we know some people in our life, the devil card looks just like the lover's card, except that there's the devil there instead of an angel, and the people have chains and shackles on them, and it just feels limiting and restricting and confining and oppressive and imprisoning. And we can have a hard time whether those people are our brother, sister, adult child, mom, dad, long-term friend, romantic interest. We can have a really hard time emotionally detaching from those people because we did have a dream of those people working together with us more cooperatively to bring a dream into reality. But eventually we can't kind of stay in illusion about it and in denial of the truth. If some people are less deceptive and manipulative or immature, bossy, controlling, full of themselves, manipulative, and they feel like the other people are, eventually they're going to get out of those relationships. And then we have the King of Pentacles, and the reason that came out is because of the Three of Pentacles. If some people wanted to be in a relationship or a friendship or a job, all those things are kind of what the King of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles can talk about. For some of those people, those relationships are coming to an end because the shadowy people maybe didn't want to invest in the truth. In high vibe, the King of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, I view as Capricorn energy. You have to be willing to detach from your more immature ways of being to work together. You have to free yourself. That's high vibe Capricorn. Because shadowy Capricorn is the devil. I have to be willing to see the truth of what needs to be let go of. What things aren't conducive to a relationship in high vibe Three of Pentacles where you work together with people cooperatively. And in high vibe, the Three of Pentacles is like, well, I have my truth and my dreams and my aspirations, and you have your truth and your dreams and your aspirations. Do we love each other? If we do, then in the Three of Pentacles, we equally are willing to, sacrifice from thinking it should just be more my way or the highway. And we work cooperatively out of love because we love those people and we want to work together with those people. But some people can have a really hard time doing that because it requires them to see the truth of how they can try to manipulate and control people in a relationship. Or maybe they think, oh, because we have been friends or we are family or because you work here or because I'm offering you these things of the world is what shadowy pentacle can be. Some people are just offering things of the world, like, well, I'll have sex with you, or I'll be your friend, or I'll date you, or I'll marry you. Other people are trying to work together with people from love. In high vibe, the one pentacle is about truth and love. And if it's not about truth and love, then it's about something else. Some people got out of one job, friendship, or relationship, and if they're kind of shadowy, they could just be trying to get in another one, but they didn't learn the lesson. They're still shadowy. And they're going to just go get in a different job, friendship, or relationship, but they still don't see the truth. And they could be kind of full of themselves, like, I think I'm so smart, or because I have a certain status or image or whatever. I think there'll be other people who will be willing to, or education or work experience. I think there'll be other people who are willing to get in a relationship with me. And the King of Pentacles can represent, whether people are male or female, that they look like they're someone and they kind of present themselves as someone that people would think has kind of learned those lessons in life. The only thing is they're being deceptive and manipulative in the thief. They're not who they present themselves as being. It's kind of like a false mask that they wear. And other people, next we have the Page of Cups and the Six of Swords. And the reason is because the Ten of Pentacles, well, everybody kind of wants to be in friendship and relationship and have a job, right? if you're still in the employment age, right? Well, yeah, there's going to be other people because, again, whether they're male or female, they could be attractive, they could be charming, they could have a job, they could, whatever it is that other people could view them as someone like, oh, I'd like them to invest in me and I'd like to invest in them. I'd like to get to know them. And then in the Six of Swords, that's Aquarius energy. We want to be in friendship and relationship with people. So we have this dream we want to bring into reality. At the end of the story, we have the Seven of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. If there's more shadowy people, well, there is shadowy people in the world. There are some people, they are more invested in making their life about themselves, ego, image, indulgence, want to maybe be in friendships or relationships, have a job, maybe get married. But that's more emotionally what they're invested in the Page of Cups. That's their truth. They're less motivated and inspired by truth and love, and quit being more about themselves or more about these things in the world that manipulate them. Other people get in a relationship with them, and sometimes we all, in high vibe, the Seven of Swords, can talk about learning these lessons in life, and we all go on this journey in life to go through all these different life experiences to help us get more clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't, and to accept the truth that, if you're someone who isn't deceptive and manipulative, you are more inspired by truth and love. That is the foundation you operate from. That is your truth and what you're aligned with. It can be hard, again, to accept the truth that some other people in our life, that's not their truth. And other people we're going to meet in our life, that's not their truth. And some of them are in our family, some people, our neighborhoods, our workplaces. And they can look just like other people, It can take time to get to know people, but we also have to kind of learn these lessons. And when we come across some people that we get in friendship and relationship with, and we're trying to move it forward more in truth and love, and they might try to move it forward more just for however it benefits them, eventually we work through these things of accepting that we do live in a world of duality, and not everybody's motivated by love. Some people definitely don't want to do love. They get hurt doing love. They do make their life more about, I will be in the relationship, I will enjoy the relationship, I could even be in a lot of ways very stable and grounded and nurturing and supportive, but I'm just not really going to do love. Then I'd emotionally have skin in the game, and that means I could get hurt. So they're kind of being the Seven of Swords, is like what I said in the Thief card. They could just be people who like to live more from their mind than their heart, indulge themselves in the relationship, enjoy it, but they're just never going to get more balance within themselves, of being maybe more about themselves, or being in the relationship for these more worldly reasons. Turn their back on their more emotionally hopeful, believing nature. Close out this old cycle, work through these issues that manipulate them. Some of them will never do that. And they don't have to. But if other people come in their life and it's a more mismatched relationship, the other people eventually are going to kind of get in a relationship with them, eventually work through the mental confusion that someone who presented themselves as much more just and fair and stable and balanced and loving, isn't who they say they are. And the other people could kind of find them more immature, more materialistically motivated or self-motivated. And eventually those people are going to wish them peace and love, and they're going to move on, and they're going to close out a cycle with them. and become independent of them. The difference between like the 1 pentacle and the 10 of pentacles is the 9 of pentacles, which is Virgo energy, about seeing the truth. No more in denial of the truth. And, this is the reason why the reading came out. People weren't seeing the truth. And we all want these things of the world. We all want to be in friendship and relationship. And we all have our viewpoint, I guess, of what our idea of the dream life is. And everybody has their idea of what the dream life is. Some people want to be immature, want more. The King of Pentacles and the Page of Cups can be, people want a more codependent relationship. I don't want you to be more independent. I want you to be more codependent on me. I want you to turn your back on your own dreams and make your life more about me. Or let's keep doing this. I don't want things to change. I don't want to move forward differently. I don't want you to move forward differently. If we move forward, let's keep moving forward just like this. Some people have more fear of stepping out of their comfort zone, having more hope and faith and belief in themselves, looking at life from a higher perspective, having hope and faith and belief in themselves or others or love. But other people do. And so then we get in these kind of mismatched relationships, and one person could want things to stay a certain way, and other people are kind of like, I kind of learned everything I needed to learn here, and now it's time, let's move forward, let's face our fears. I'll try to be loving and encouraging to you, and you can be loving and encouraging to me, and let's do it together. Let's work through those things together. And some people are like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to keep doing this. And, then it's kind of like, we're on different pages. How we want to move forward, our truth, or maybe what we emotionally want to invest our time, energy, and effort into. Our idea of the dream relationship is different. So, some high vibe people are moving forward, and we have the Four of Swords in reverse, the Two of Cups, the World, the Lovers, and the Seven of Wands. And the reason is because of the Six of Cups. I'm not as familiar with this deck, so I got to see some of the words on the bottom. So, in high vibe, these cards can represent, and these cards, that people offered people truth and love to move forward with them. But, love is supposed to be just and fair. You're supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. And they were willing to work together with people cooperatively. But the difference between the Three of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles is the Seven of Pentacles, which can talk about people's philosophy of life and how they view relationships. And a more shadowy Seven of Pentacles in Taurus energy can be that people could be more stubborn, more materialistic, again, more about themselves. But it also can be this way of viewing life that is kind of distrustful of love and just think that everybody, that it's more transactional, and whoever can maybe outwit, outsmart, or manipulate better than the other person, or has more of things that people want in the world, should be the more indulged person. And that can be, you can have a hard time wrapping your brain around that because that's not how you think. But we have to see the truth that that is how some other people think. Because they don't really, their truth is they're tipped out of balance, and they're not more balanced and more aligned with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And so they could think it is all about outwit, outplay, manipulate, who's going to be the person more in control, that is the name of the game. And they maybe can't comprehend that some people are being authentic, and that they really, it isn't trying to manipulate and control someone, or, that it is about working together cooperatively for a common goal and a common dream. But it can just be they can't relate to that, and oh no, you're trying to manipulate me. No, you're trying to control me. No, I'm not. You know, if you're not aligning with your more hopeful, believing, loving nature, why? I don't know. Maybe because some things happened in their life, or that's just the truth. In a world of duality, there could probably be just some people that that's their natural way of being. Could have chosen that before they came here. I don't know. But they're not aligned with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. It's like they turn their back on that free willingly. Nope. I'm going to turn my back on my more hopeful, believing, loving nature. That's not my truth. I don't believe in it. I'd have to become independent of being more about me, or more about the world, or trying to manipulate and control people. And some people could be very good at it, and that's how they operate in the world. That's kind of maybe what they invested their time, energy, and effort into. Instead of, they had the free will to invest in loving themselves, getting out of their ego, learning some lessons in life, becoming independent of their more manipulative ways or shadowy ways or these ways of viewing life, but they didn't do it. And then if they get in relationships with other people, you could also look at the pentacles as different lessons people have learned. There's some people in life that might present themselves very well in the world in some way, but they have not learned some of these lessons that other people have learned. And it doesn't matter what age people are. You know, you could have young people in a community or in a workplace that work very well together with people, are kind of loving and encouraging, and know how to treat other people in a just and fair way. And then you could have older people that are all bossy or crotchety or gossipy or jealous and petty. You know, anywhere, anybody can be anywhere on the spectrum, you know? And as other people have come into contact with all these different type of people, you know, at different times they had a harder time accepting the truth. But the more experience they get at these things in life, you know, shadowy energy can be wanting to stay in denial of the truth, which also can be the Four of Swords in reverse. I don't want to see the truth. Some people could be at that stage. Other people have been there. And other people have gotten to where I'm no longer in illusion. Unless, like, the devil tries to confuse us about the truth. And because we can love people, and because we're just and fair, or loving and encouraging to people, we think, of course, everybody's motivated to be more hopeful and believing and just and fair and loving. And then, you know, over and over at different times in our life, we see that's not the truth, because people have to be inspired to even want to heal or grow, mature themselves, or temper their more immature nature, or lazy, or whatever shadowy ways of being they have, right? And some people have no interest in wanting to become independent of that way of being. They could completely enjoy their life, you know? And some people are very self-indulgent. And of course, they think that's just and fair. And then they think other people should indulge them in those kind of shadowy ways of being, because they think it's just and fair. Maybe other people have indulged them in that way, and they're just looking for other people to indulge them that way. And as some other people have had these experiences in their life, they put an end to being in denial of the truth. It's like, no, I've had enough experience now that when I meet people and I go out in the world, I'm going to go treat people the way I like to be treated, and accept they have free will. It doesn't matter how just, how fair, how loving, how encouraging I could be. They have the free will to decide if they want to work together with me in that way of being, authentically or with a false mask or not. And as I get to know them, I'm going to see the truth. The Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords, which in quite shadowy energy of Aquarius energy can be people who seem to want to win at all costs. They really don't give a fuck. If you're not willing to indulge me in these ways of being, then screw you, and I don't really care, because it's really all about me. And if you won't indulge me, I'll just go find someone else who has. Maybe find someone else who doesn't know the truth about me. Maybe experience some type of ending, just like, we do get kind of hire new employees or go look for a new job or a new friendship or to date someone because some other relationship that ended. And some people, they're just looking for people that they can deceive and manipulate, indulge themselves in it for as long as it lasts. And they get people to get in a relationship with them. And if those people, take them on face value, not seeing through the illusion, those people could be authentic and think, well, of course, we're going to go through this stage of getting to know each other. And then that phase, again, there's a maximum of 10 in every suit, like that phase of the relationship will come to an end. Like we've gotten to know each other, all this stuff. Now let's move forward to bring that dream into reality, to bring justice to the situation, to keep moving forward in it. And that can be when some of the people are like, oh, time to end the relationship. They got to the point where they really wanted me to bring the dream into reality. And again, some people just get in a relationship to indulge themselves in it, create an illusion. You're going to learn things. You're going to get promoted if it's a job. You're going to get paid more. And then that dream never really, or a little bit in increments, can kind of come into reality. But what you were expecting never happens. And in a relationship, if it's romantic, somebody creates the illusion. Oh, they were the deceived party. They're the loving, nurturing, stable person that these people should get in a relationship with them. Their dream will come into reality. And that's the furthest it goes. And then when it gets to where the choice is there for people to move forward, to kind of walk the talk, they go back and want to start back over at ground zero. Kind of like, no, let's keep doing this. And they could have some people who keep going round and round with them because those people could love them and they don't really want to move away from them and they're conflicted. And they can stay at that stage for a long time. And eventually some people work through it and they're like, no more illusions. And some people could be telling some people that. This is not moving forward in the way it seemed like I thought it was going in, and maybe the way you created the illusion it was going to move forward. And if that's not your truth, then I wish you peace as the Page of Cups, but I'm moving forward. And that's when people are like, I'm done trying to get justice in this situation or to heal the relationship. Both people have to be invested in becoming independent of some of these issues that manipulate them to bring that dream into reality. And some people don't want to see the truth. The Four of Swords can talk about, taking some time to self-reflect, and that's Virgo energy also, of looking at some of these things that aren't conducive to a relationship moving forward in a more just and fair, stable, balanced, self-aware, just, fair, loving way. And the reason for this grouping of cards coming out is the Six of Cups, like the Death or Coffin card, is Scorpio energy. For one, it can talk about, have we reconciled ourselves with issues from our past? Kind of to the same degree to have made some peace with it, that we've put some of these issues of the past in the past. If it's our past pain and heartbreak, grieving, old relationships, things like that. Um, being more about ourselves, being more immature, being more caught up in the world, to become independent of some of those ways of being, to also, in high vibe, Scorpio talks about having a more deep, meaningful relationship, more balanced, emotionally balanced. And if other people, well, the high vibe people in the Two of Cups, which is Cancer energy about love of self and love of others, they have made peace with some issues from their past. In the World card can talk about learning those lessons, closing out an old cycle. I can accept the truth that some people in my life, uh, some of those friendships and relationships didn't work out. Some of those people I didn't think it was just and fair. Some of those relationships ended. Some people could have passed away in my life that I loved. Some people could have moved away. Whatever the case is, I've kind of offered love to that, to just accept that everyone was where they were. Everybody had their issues. I had my issues. The fives, the thief, well, not really that one, but the Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords. And the fives can be about change. And I might have had a dream and had people or ways of viewing life or living life. And I thought my life was going to come in that way. And I could have invested in some of those things, thinking that was going to, my dream was going to come into reality with it. But with some of those people and some of those things, that didn't work out. I didn't get the justice I wanted. And I could have felt it was unjust. Well, I can either keep being focused on it emotionally, and the difference between the One Cup and the Six of Cups is the Five of Cups, and that can be focused on these, which is also Scorpio, being caught up in these things of my past that didn't work out the way I wanted. I can keep being more focused on that, or I could offer love to the situation to align with my more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And again, in my Aquarius energy, look at life from the bigger perspective. I'm a fallible human being who has had lessons learned. I've been dealing with other fallible human beings. Some of them were adults when I was children. Some of them were children. Some of them, all these different people. Everybody was where they were at in their own emotional maturity level of growing and healing and maturing themselves. And I think it's also in the big picture, if you know people who are like immature, bossy, and controlling, they're probably, could they have a lot of success in their life? And we've known some people that are quite intimidating, controlling, and atrocious to people in the world. And they've got status and image and power, right? But I believe the truth comes out. I believe it's kind of built into the system. God will take care of it. I don't have to take care of it. And if people are more shadowy in some ways, I'm going to let God deal with it. And I think if they're naturally those kind of people, I'm not going to be the only person in the world who realizes that about them. And, they'll have their life that is manifested with people either who indulge them in that way or have other people who move on from them. And I don't have to worry about it. I need to focus on my dream. Let God take care of those people. I'm going to become independent of things that I think aren't growing, aren't healing, aren't being authentic, aren't being just and fair, to invest in my own hopeful, believing, loving nature and my dreams, and become independent, have offered probably truth and love to people. If that's not their truth, then I wish you peace. And I see there will be no justice there, maybe, or no healing. But I'm going to align with love to make peace with the past, take the lessons I've learned from that life experience, and keep moving forward in the energy of love. And then in the Seven of Wands, and Gemini, the Lover's card is Gemini energy, which is about our dualistic free will. I accept that some people may never reconcile themselves with some issues of the past in order to align with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. They might like and enjoy, not being just and fair, or looking to try to get other people to be in friendship or relationship with them, and with people who don't want to be in friendship or relationship with them, still not kind of healing from it, and seeing the truth of it. High vibe energy is I am dealing with the truth of what is. Could I wish things are different? Yeah. Could I wish people would heal and grow and mature themselves or temper their ego or whatever? Yes. But if that's not the case, I either stay stuck, not moving forward in my life, or I accept the truth of it and I do heal and then I come out of healing. And then I am ready because I have kind of made peace with it to move forward in high vibe Seven of Swords, still believing in my dreams. My dreams can only come into reality with other people who are willing to work together with me, kind of being on the same page as I am. And if those people, that's not their truth or how they want to live their life, then I'm going to listen to my intuition and stand up for myself and my more loving nature and my dreams, maintain balance within myself emotionally, and then the difference between the 2 and the 6 of cups is the 4 of cups. High vibe people are taking that cup of love that in their free will nature they have the free will to take. And that's also kind of like high vibe Leo. I'm going to take that cup of love. There can be people in my world who aren't offering it to me. It's kind of like accepting that cup of love from the divine. I have the free will to align with truth and love, even if there's people in my life who aren't being very just or fair or loving or encouraging or whatever. I can take that cup of love and align with my more hopeful, believing, loving nature to stay balanced within myself in the face of other people not being just and fair and loving. And in high vibe Aquarius, keep focused on the big picture. We can go through difficult times in our life, and, there's different seasons of our life, spring, summer, winter, fall. And sometimes we're kind of going through a period of time. And part of that period of time is a time that if we were to had seen it more clearly, was an opportunity for us to be able to do this work within ourselves, to maybe work through how we could have been repeating old patterns, because we'll all repeat old patterns until we're willing to quit repeating that pattern, but we have to see the truth of the pattern and kind of learn the lesson we were meant to learn from it. Some people are very loving and nurturing people, but they're in relationships with people who aren't. It's like dead energy. Shallow energy, manipulative energy, intimidating, bossy, controlling. Quit investing in what's dead. And when we quit investing in things and people or habits or vices or ways of thinking or feeling that aren't conducive to truth and love and moving our life forward, we work through them. We heal. We offer love to ourselves. And we will come out the other side being more inspired and moving forward in a way that is victorious and successful, because we were willing to put in that work and effort to stand up for our truth, and other people are basically standing up for their truth. And it's like your truth and your idea of the dream relationship, workplace, friendship, I don't agree with it. I do not think that is just and fair. You might think it's just and fair. Well, I wish you peace. Go do that with someone. I don't want to keep doing that. So you go enjoy your life. Live it the way you want to live it. I'm going to go live my life the way I want to live it. And as we do that, and we invest in freeing ourselves from kind of maybe being more manipulated by our own worldly, egoic, codependent nature, and we start taking action in our truth and motivated and inspired by deep, meaningful relationships that are balanced and loving and inspiring and encouraging. You know, when we quit investing in people that aren't aligned with that, it frees us up to meet people who are. And let's see what the shadowy people are doing. The shadowy people, they just might have to go on. Either their truth is they don't really want to be more just, more fair, more loving, more authentic, do deep, meaningful relationships. They like making their life more about themselves or more about these things of the world. And they're going to go make their life about that. And if the people in their life who they think make their life more about that, they could offer those people, to try to get them to move forward with them. And those people, if they're on that page and they're both more about love of ego or image or making their life about looking like a shining star in the world or willing to indulge someone, maybe a more codependent relationship, that's their free will choice. They can manifest whatever they want. And maybe some of those people are repeating an old pattern. And at some future point in time, they might have to decide if that is their truth. But for right now, it could be their truth. But they both might be more about the world. And they maybe are happy being in that kind of relationship. Other people might think it's a little more shadowy Scorpio, a little more emotionally shallow and superficial, and more about being in a relationship to be in a relationship or to indulge people to get these things of the world that you want. And I guess then if people know those people and they kind of see the truth of it, if that's not their truth, some of those people will distance themselves from those people, and other people who live their life like that would probably want to hang out with those people. We all kind of like to hang out with people who are kind of on the same page as us at any time in how we view life and what we think is just and fair, So, let the people who enjoy living their life in a way that isn't aligned with your truth, let them go live their life. Go be free yourself to go find people in the world who are more aligned with your truth. And you already could be in a relationship or a marriage or have your friends or family members that are kind of on the same page as you. And we can all deal with shadowy people in the world, just regardless of if we're in relationships or marriages or friendships, that we all kind of deal with some shadowy people. High vibe people, again, willing to get to know people, wish people peace and love, trying to be kind of like a shining light in the world, but not living in illusion. Am I going to get more involved in a friendship or relationship with people who show me they're kind of shadowy? No. I'm going to focus on the people in my life who seem to have learned some of those lessons and who are more loving and encouraging. And some of the shadowy people don't want to be in a more balanced relationship. They could love the world and defend living life the way they live it. And that's fine. They can do that. And some of them like to keep living more from their mind than their heart. Some of them are just trying to deceive and manipulate someone new who doesn't know the truth about who they are. So, what's coming out for people who are in some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? The Emperor. Why? Because of the devil. When we go through challenging times, that is an opportunity for us to do this work. Do I think I deserve more just and fair and loving relationships? Am I more codependent? How can I quit being more codependent? How can I love myself and believe in myself? You know, how was I repeating an old pattern? You know, the truth, high vibe Virgo and high vibe Capricorn, is about freeing yourself from the devil. Things that try to control and manipulate you, your own shadow nature, your own egoic, immature, lust, greed, pride, ego, all those things, so that you can have your dream come into reality. But you have to work through those issues of the past to take that cup of love, to stand up for yourself, to love yourself, to believe in your dreams. And if you do that work within yourself, the Emperor talks about being a good leader in your own life, being a good leader in the world, leading by example. And it also kind of talks about learning lessons in these four suits of the deck, because the Emperor has learned the lessons in the four suits of the deck: the heart, the mind, the 3D world, the creative passion nature. And internally, they would be an Empress, which is high vibe Libra Taurus energy, being balanced within yourself, loving yourself, and your philosophy of life and the actions that you take are dictated more by hope and faith and belief in yourself and in love. But seeing the truth, we can, oh, this is the devil card. We can love people, is what the devil talks about. We can love the world. We can love people that we have a worldly connection with. But if it's where people are trying to manipulate us, control us, you know, just haven't grasped the concept about justice and fairness, and love is supposed to, if it's a romantic relationship, it's supposed to be based on love, not for these other reasons. All of that helped some people really learn to love themselves and get balance within themselves, and force them to work through these issues, or they knew they just spend their life repeating this old pattern or trying to change other people. And we can't change other people. Other people have free will. We can offer people truth and love, treat them in a just and fair manner, and then we stand up for our truth that is to be just and fair, and people are supposed to work together with us in that same way. And if that's not their truth, we wish them peace, and we go find people in the world who do. And what you don't see coming, the devil could be that, you know, other people could find you very attractive, because in the Emperor, you really kind of look like you got it going on in the world, more so than a King of Pentacles. You know, that you've learned some of these lessons in life that some other people haven't, and some other people in the world have also been in relationships with people who are like that, and they've also kind of learned these lessons, and some of those people could be very much attracted to you. And if it was a job that you left because some people being kind of immature or something, you could be in a much better job that the devil can talk about, that people are kind of jealous and envious of, because it, for some reason, could make it seem like you have moved up in the world or something. But you also just might be dealing with more emotionally mature, loving, and encouraging people. The devil's probably mad. Shadowy people in your life that you didn't stay at that job or in those friendships and relationships could be mad. Mad they couldn't deceive and manipulate you to keep staying where you were at. Mad that you loved and believed in yourself, to stand up for yourself and not give up on your dreams. And the devil again, Capricorn energy, could talk about that you really seem to have a lot of these things of the world that could make other people want to be in a relationship with you, and that could make some other people mad. Could even make some people who turn their back on you want to be in a relationship with you again. But, and you also could get in a relationship with some people, even your friendships and stuff, if you're not in a relationship already, with some people that, because you took action and truth and love, and you didn't take action more out of pride or ego or fear, insecurity or codependency, and you kind of grew up and matured yourself, it's kind of like, again, looking for people who are more on the same page as you, who have tempered kind of and learned how to temper their more immature worldly nature. There's other people that are doing that in the world who want to be in relationship with other people who do that. And again, other people could see that you've kind of really bossed up in the world for some of you. What's coming up for people who harness a more worldly, shadowy or Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? The Three of Wands. Why? Because of the Ten of Cups. Well, while shadowy people do kind of keep repeating an old pattern, they can always try to get in a new job, a new friendship, a new relationship. And they can try to move forward in it. The thing is, though, they become defensive because they're really some of these lessons they haven't learned yet. Or they're not even in relationships and friendships that are aligned with their truth and are just in it for these other reasons that they could be in it. And so that can be how they live their life. It's more, shadowy energy of Leo and like the devil and all that. It can be very competitive. Well, I want to look like I'm moving forward. Who can I get in a relationship with so I look like I've moved forward, like I've healed, I've grown, I've matured, or where I'm making more money. But they keep not changing, but it can be just trying to make it work with someone else or at a different job. But whatever was the reason why some other jobs, friendships, or relationships didn't work out, they keep not wanting to see the truth. They keep thinking, oh no, I think I can just create an illusion. I think I can confuse people about the truth. I think I can manipulate people. I might think I'm so smart. I'm just going to go try to go get a different job, friendship. And I think I can act like other people act. Well, for one, you can act like you're more stable, grounded, and mature than you are. But the people who really are motivated and inspired by love eventually kind of become defensive because they realize the other people, it doesn't seem to be authentically inspired by love. Like the shadowy people kind of want the dream to come into reality. The Three of Wands, kind of like Aquarius, can be, I have this dream. I want to look like a loving person. I want to be in relationships. I want a job. I want people to view me as a loving person. And I want to be in relationships. I would think even shadowy people want to be in relationships kind of with loving people because that's part of the dream. And it's kind of like, though, but I want to be kind of shadowy. But you be more just and fair and loving. Don't act like me. That would be really the dream relationship. But they go in a relationship wearing a false mask, pretending they harness high vibe Cancer energy when they don't. And they use their emotions and their charm and their looks and their resources and their sexuality, all those things to trying to control people, to get people to view them a certain way. But they're not being authentic. And eventually, the people who are authentic and motivated and inspired by love become defensive to them because it's like wearing a false mask. If you're really authentically motivated and inspired by love, you can tell when people are authentically motivated and inspired by love. And people are trying to fake it. They're really more about themselves. Aries energy is about the self. People don't have to be an Aries. Anyone can harness their Aries energy in a shadowy way. And that's what they keep doing. And they can always probably be surprised that other people, they have all went through their experiences in life. They've had their pain, their heartbreak. Uh, they've been more immature, prideful, egotistical at times in their life. And they kept probably going down some wrong paths in their life. We got a lot of lessons to learn in life. And eventually, some people are willing to offer love to themselves to deal with the truth of it. And again, some people, it's always just trying to change other people. And why am I trying to change other people? If I think I'm a just and fair and loving person, why am I not getting in relationships with people who are more just and fair? So the more high vibe people eventually love themselves enough to not settle for an illusion, and they go face their fears to stand up for themselves. The Emperor is also Aries energy. To face their fears and stand up for themselves to go get the justice they deserve. And they're less about it being about them or the ego or the image of it, or don't want to be in relationships that are more superficial and shallow and all about those things. Realizing, here's that Bible verse, if I make my life kind of about all these things of the world, it's like a resounding gong. You can have all these things of the world, and that's what you have. It's not a just and fair relationship. It's not a deep, meaningful relationship. It's all about maybe the ego or the image or the fear or the codependency. And other people are like, why am I doing this? I could... Why don't I love and believe in myself enough? When and where did I give up on myself and my dreams and settle for the illusion? And some people work through all those things to love themselves enough. I don't think that's just and fair. Aligning with my more worldly, self-protective, immature, self-indulgent, manipulative, more about myself nature is not just and fair. And that's probably why some of those relationships didn't work out the way I wanted. The person who needs to change is me. And they love themselves enough to change, to defend their more hopeful, believing, loving nature and be more inspired by love. And those people change your life. And some of these people cannot understand that. Why would anybody not want to keep being more about themselves or make their life about these things of the world or try to manipulate and control people or be more codependent? How do those people even love and believe in themselves? Well, if you listen to your intuition and you invest in your own unique talent, skills, and interests, those are the things that will really make you happy because it's aligned with your truth. And trust and believe and listen to your intuition to guide you. High vibe energy represented by God at the big picture is wanting to give birth to something new. And it's looking for people who listen to their intuition to follow the call, basically, you know? And some people do. And some people don't. No, I got to work with these things of the world. I don't believe in that. But it's like synchronicity. All the little breadcrumbs that you kind of get. Yep, don't take that job. Nope, don't hang out with that person. This person seems nice. Let's get to know them. And, just listening to your intuition. But that's a process of learning lessons too. We have free will. We don't have to listen to our intuition if we don't want to. Kind of view that as our creative, inspired, fiery nature and our emotional nature. But we got to quit living more from our mind than our heart, thinking we're so smart. Pride comes before the fall. And some things some people go invest in, they're going down the wrong path, but they don't want to see the truth of it. It's not leading somewhere positive because they're not taking action in truth and love, treating other people the way they like to be treated, and they're looking to something to be their answer to their problems and looking within themselves and loving themselves and believing in themselves, that is where the answer lies. To learn to love yourself. And some of the people keep turning their back on love. No, no, that's not the answer. No, I'm sure it's something else. I'm going to go invest in that. So there you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.